Cultural representation of borderline personality disorder, BPD, influence of famous characters or fictional stories depicting BPD. The portrayal of borderline personality disorder, BPD, in popular culture, through famous characters and fictional stories, has a profound impact on public understanding and stigma. Characters in films, TV shows, and books can serve as both powerful reflections of mental health struggles and sources of misunderstanding. The way BPD is depicted in these characters often shapes how the public perceives those living with the disorder, either by providing deeper insights or reinforcing harmful stereotypes. In this episode of the Borderline Personality Disorder, BPD, podcast, we will explore how famous characters and fictional stories have influenced the cultural representation of BPD. We'll look at how these characters are depicted, how they affect the public perception of BPD, and the potential consequences of both positive and negative portrayals. 1. Famous characters with BPD, depictions and their impact. Fictional characters with BPD have had a significant influence on public understanding of the disorder, but the way these characters are portrayed often leans into extreme or negative stereotypes. These portrayals can reinforce misconceptions about BPD, presenting individuals with the disorder as unstable, manipulative, or dangerous. However, some characters also offer a more nuanced and sympathetic view of the condition. 1.1 Winona Ryder's character in Girl, Interrupted, 1999. One of the most iconic portrayals of borderline personality disorder in film is Winona Ryder's character, Susanna Kaysen, in Girl, Interrupted. Based on the memoir by Susanna Kaysen, the film depicts Susanna's time in a psychiatric hospital and her struggles with emotional instability, identity issues, and self-destructive behavior, all hallmarks of BPD impact. While the film does address the emotional pain of Susanna's character, it also plays into the stereotype of individuals with BPD as being irrational and unpredictable. Susanna is depicted as someone who can't control her emotions and often feels misunderstood. This portrayal can give the public a skewed understanding of the disorder, making it seem like a condition that leads only to chaotic and destructive behavior, rather than highlighting the emotional suffering and self-awareness that many individuals with BPD experience. Nuance. On the positive side, the film also provides an opportunity for audiences to empathize with Susanna's struggle, encouraging a deeper understanding of the emotional pain that often accompanies BPD. It challenges the idea that people with BPD are simply difficult or bad, revealing the complexity of the disorder. 1.2 Alex Forrest in Fatal Attraction, 1987. In Fatal Attraction, Glenn Close's character, Alex Forrest, is often cited as an example of the crazy ex-girlfriend stereotype, which has been used to represent BPD in the media. Alex becomes obsessively fixated on her affair with a married man, and her behavior escalates to violence, stalking, and manipulation. Impact. The portrayal of Alex plays into harmful stereotypes about BPD, depicting people with the disorder as being unhinged and capable of extreme actions. Alex's emotional instability, fear of abandonment, and inability to regulate her emotions are exaggerated to the point of making her a villain in the narrative. This portrayal reinforces the stigmatization of BPD and can perpetuate a view that people with the disorder are manipulative or dangerous. Consequences. Such depictions contribute to a fear-based understanding of BPD and can prevent those with the disorder from seeking help, as they may fear being seen as dangerous or uncontrollable. 1.3 Tiffany in Silver Linings Playbook, 2012. In Silver Linings Playbook, Jennifer Lawrence's character, Tiffany Maxwell, displays behaviors that align with some of the symptoms of BPD, such as emotional dysregulation, impulsivity, and difficulties in relationships. Tiffany struggles with grief, emotional trauma, and self-worth, and her romantic involvement with the main character, Pat, played by Bradley Cooper, is filled with emotional highs and lows. Impact. Unlike the previous characters, Tiffany is shown as more relatable and sympathetic, allowing audiences to see BPD through the lens of emotional pain and vulnerability rather than manipulation or chaos. Tiffany's struggles with identity and her eventual growth and healing highlight the possibility of recovery and understanding. Nuance. This portrayal is important because it shows that people with BPD are not defined by their condition. They are capable of love, growth, and healing. Tiffany's journey is a positive example of how individuals with BPD can manage their emotions and build healthier relationships, offering hope for others living with the disorder. 2. The influence of fictional stories on BPD awareness. Beyond specific characters, fictional stories, whether novels, TV shows, or movies, play a key role in influencing public perception of mental health, particularly borderline personality disorder. These stories often reflect the complexities of living with a mental health condition, but they can also perpetuate misunderstandings, especially if the disorder is used as a plot device without a nuanced exploration of the individual's experience. 2.1 Prozac Nation by Elizabeth Wurtzel. In her memoir Prozac Nation, Elizabeth Wurtzel reflects on her struggles with depression and BPD, portraying her emotional highs and lows and her search for identity. The book offers an in-depth exploration of how BPD affects daily life, relationships, and self-worth. It highlights the emotional instability and fear of abandonment that often define BPD, along with the desperation for connection and validation. Impact. Wurtzel's memoir provides a raw, personal, and compassionate view of BPD. However, it also emphasizes the emotional extremes and self-destructive tendencies that accompany the disorder, which could reinforce stereotypes of people with BPD as self-centered or excessively dramatic. Nuance. Despite this, Prozac Nation does an important job of illustrating the internal conflict that often accompanies BPD, offering a more humanizing portrayal of the disorder than many other cultural representations. 2.2 The Buddha and the Borderline by Kira Van Gelder. In The Buddha and the Borderline, Kira Van Gelder recounts her personal journey with BPD, including her struggles with self-harm, impulsivity, and identity issues, as well as her path to healing through DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, and mindfulness. Van Gelder offers a clear, authentic depiction of how BPD affects someone's emotional regulation and interpersonal relationships. Impact. This memoir is one of the more honest and empathetic portrayals of BPD, as it focuses on the healing journey and the possibility of recovery. By providing personal insight, the book offers a better understanding of the chronic nature of BPD, while also highlighting the potential for change. Nuance. Van Gelder's account encourages those living with BPD to seek treatment and provides a realistic view of what recovery can look like, helping to reduce stigma and providing hope for those who may feel misunderstood or alone. 3. The impact of fictional BPD characters on public perception. The representation of BPD in popular media shapes how the disorder is understood by the public. When characters are portrayed as either dangerous and unpredictable or sympathetic and complex, these portrayals can either reinforce misconceptions or foster empathy. 3.1 Reinforcing stigma. Characters like Alex Forrest in Fatal Attraction and Susanna Kaysen in Girl, Interrupted contribute to the fear-based stigma surrounding BPD. These characters are often depicted as being emotionally unstable, manipulative, or dangerous, which reinforces the stereotype that people with BPD are inherently dangerous or untrustworthy. Consequences. This type of representation can make it harder for individuals with BPD to seek help, as they fear being labeled as unstable or uncontrollable. It also makes it more difficult for society to view people with BPD as multidimensional individuals who can contribute positively to relationships and communities. 3.2 Promoting understanding and empathy. On the other hand, characters like Tiffany Maxwell in Silver Linings Playbook and the personal stories in The Buddha and the Borderline promote a more compassionate and realistic view of BPD. By depicting characters who struggle with emotional pain but also seek growth and self-acceptance, these portrayals help to humanize the disorder, showing that individuals with BPD are not defined by their condition but by their resilience, courage, and capacity for change. Impact. These depictions encourage understanding, reduce stigma, and help foster empathy for people living with BPD. They also highlight the importance of support, treatment, and self-care in managing the disorder, offering hope to those who may feel isolated. 4. Conclusion. The cultural representation of borderline personality disorder, BPD, in famous characters and fictional stories has a profound influence on how the disorder is perceived by society. Stereotypical portrayals that emphasize instability and danger can perpetuate stigma, while more nuanced and compassionate depictions can foster empathy and a deeper understanding of the emotional complexities that define BPD. As media continues to evolve, there is a growing opportunity to depict individuals with BPD as multidimensional characters who are capable of healing, growth, and meaningful relationships. By humanizing these portrayals and offering a more accurate view of BPD, we can challenge the harmful stereotypes and contribute to a more compassionate society that understands and supports those living with the disorder. In future episodes, we will continue to explore how BPD is represented in media and its impact on public perception, providing more insights into how cultural depictions shape the understanding of mental health. Stay tuned for more discussions on BPD and the power of positive representation.